Greetings to all you Ferrari aficionados. I've had this car on my wish list for quite a while. This is a Ferrari 512 BBLM Le Mans race car, and it's made by a brand called Kyosho. They do have other colorways which actually aren't too expensive on eBay. There's like a black one and I think a red one. But with this racing livery, you know it's going to cost more. Okay, well, there's a little bit of a story behind this race car. In 1974, Luigi Cinetti's North American racing team, also known as NART, N-A-R-T, they developed a racing variation of the 365 GT4 BB, and they used them for endurance racing, of course. They did our sixth place at the 12 Hours of Sebring in 1975, and then they raced up until 1978, and then Ferrari decided to just make their own factory version. So hold on, let me hit the focus again. So Ferrari developed some for the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1978, I believe. But they didn't win. None of them even completed the race. So that's obviously pretty offensive to Ferrari. So they looked at the rule books again, and then in 1979 they made 9 more, and they had a longer bodywork. You know, they made it as long as the racing rules would allow. So, let's see, the best finish was a 5th overall place and first in the GTX class in the 1981 24 Hours of Le Mans. Or I'm going to say Le Mans because it's spelled that way. Alright, so, you know, this, I don't know if the axle's warped. Yeah, it must be, right? Because the wheel's just not spinning properly, and it gets too close to the door edge. Right there it seems to be the best. Okay, it's pretty nice wheels though, the molding themselves. They're yellow obviously, but you can see the perimeter bolts. You know, it's a multi-piece wheel, center knockoff there, I'm guessing. No brake system though, but there is air passing through those spokes. Okay, and then this is a nice metallic blue. And then all the printing here is tampos. They're not decals. This bump here is an orange on it for the side marker. I can't read. I think those are the drivers' names, but they're so small. I guess you could make them out. Alright, so that's good printing for sure. This silver circle is probably a fuel filler. European University. Sadly, I don't know where that is. You would think it's in Europe. Probably. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe it's in the US. Okay. Go to the front. Yeah, you got some aerodynamic light covers here. And then you still have a circular indication of a lamp back there. And then 2 additional night running lights there. Looks pretty nice. There's a texture in this radiator section. Printing looks good here as well. And then here, just bottom, is it bottoming out? I can't tell. No, that's a real vent. That's air right there, but half of it's touching the plastic base. So that's pretty nice. These are very rigid mirrors, these separate plastic mirrors. The raised painted black wiper blade looks good. Tampo printed up here as well. I don't know what those are. Another fuel filler. It's got a molded in sliding race window. And then the molding itself is part of the window casting. It's painted black. This naked duct actually has 2 horizontal streaks in it. No paint there. Something is really wrong with this. So if you look at the base here, it's sticking out. This isn't flush. See, it's flush here, and then the base is sticking past the casting here. Oh, luckily it's screwed together. So let's take it apart. A lot of the older Kyoshos have pressed together bases, which I hate because you can't fix problems like this. You'll see I went and added a sticker to the bottom because I can never remember the stats on the car, you know, when you have 700 or 1,000 models. So this car was available between 79 and 82. Alright, so there's a rivet holding the inside glass pieces. There's that real vent, so that's great. Oh, look at that. We didn't get to the back, but there's a clear piece of plastic and a finely printed on mesh screen, so that is awesome. I've never seen a Kyosho do that before. Very cool. We'll get to that when it's put back together. Look at this. This is a really risky proposition. I mean, these could easily snap off. But nice, thin, you know, exhaust pipes there. Alright, a racing seat, bunch of extra stuff, fire canister or something. The treads here are really nice. I don't know if they're really accurate treads, but the blocks are so small, I like them. So what's going on here? What's the deal with the axle being so messed up? So that seat comes in from the bottom. And yeah, just two friction fit pins here to hold the interior down. So that's totally pressed down. Well, I'll try to put it back together and hopefully. Just looking for some sort of metal casting that might be getting in the way. See, it's sticking up on the bottom. Alright, so it turns out the side walls of the interior were getting stuck on this little ledge here, so I had to pinch the interior pieces in order for the interior to sink in further, and now you can see it's actually even depressed beyond the casting. It's not flush with the casting, it's actually further in. And so that actually helped out the wheel stance quite a bit on all four corners, but it also created a lot of friction. So this thing doesn't want to roll at all. It's just too much friction between the tire and the casting. So I didn't even notice before, there's a giant air gap here. And so that's why those exhaust pipes are so long. Maybe that's like a differential right there. Yeah, it's just casted black. But yeah, the highlight really is that. Although well, I guess you can kind of see the light coming through the front, right? So clear taillights are looking good. You know, red reflector painted on. The exhaust tips, really thin plastics. They're really nice. Yeah, you can see the mesh. It's nice. Okay, so the wing is a separate plastic piece, painted yellow. Seems pretty nice. And there, you can definitely see the engine just hanging off the back there and all that airspace there. Which oddly, I don't know if this is real. I would think there'd be a panel there, because if aerodynamically the air's going to get in here and just force the window to blow open, right? So that doesn't make much sense, to be honest, to me. But I showed you that rear photograph. I don't know. Alright, well, the only blemish I'm seeing here is this. A tiny bit of paint rash developing here. I don't know how old this model is, but I think because it's a metallic blue, I hope it doesn't get much worse. Alright, so all in all, pretty nice. Let's compare it to a couple other models now. So there's that engine again. Let me focus in on that. So the engine, yeah, is just hanging off there. And then I just don't know if underneath here there's just air. Maybe there is. I don't see it. I don't know if there's a panel there or not. Don't know. Alright, let's get back to this. So I have some Kyoshos here of the 512BB. And here's the first version. So that's a road-going version. Oh, during the development of this racing car, they later on added fuel injection to it. So that fuel injection later on carried over to the 512BBI, I being for injection. So the racing program helped modernize the road cars. Okay, now I want to set these to be around the same length, because this race car is extremely long. So Again, it doesn't want to actually move. That's why I hate rolling models. You can't actually make them stay in place because they just roll out of place. What I'm trying to communicate is how long this race car is. Hopefully you can see, it's a long vehicle. Alright, back to the spinning. So those are the road comparisons. Here's a Kyosho 575 GTC race car, and it is still, this race car looks shorter than that 512 BBLM. And then for modern times I have an FXXK, also by Kyosho. So looking at the top view again, that's a very long race car, this blue 512 here. But the longer it is, it seems the faster it can go. Alright. Well, I guess we'll just leave those spinning. And then I'll pull this solar one up here. Alright, well, it was a long time coming for this video. Yeah, sadly, you know, Kyosho models are getting more expensive. And I'll tell you why. It's because eBay is just a ripoff. eBay takes 10%, sometimes more, depends on the category of what you're selling. But then there's also sales tax that gets taken out as well. So, like where I live, I have to pay the eBay fee when I sell stuff, but I also on top of that have to pay like a 7 or 8% tax. So before it goes into my Payoneer account. So basically, that tells me that if you're buying die-cast cars, you're paying an almost 20% inflated price, after, you know, of what the seller is actually getting. You know, the sellers have to increase the price 20% because that's all eBay in taxes. Alright, well, I'm not an economist. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. No one needs to have die-cast cars. But if you can afford this one, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of extra details on this guy that, you know, it's better than a typical Kyosho blister pack. Although I do believe this came out of a blister, although I didn't get it because it's a used model. And I didn't even get the stand. Alright, well, I'm pretty sure I'll probably get some more Ferrari someday, right? So hopefully I'll see you guys in that review. Thanks for watching.